Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Gallant, and I want to welcome you to another Cape Conversations. Got a great show today. You know, Cape Cod went through a big storm about 2 weeks ago, and we've got one of the men of the hour here, the chief of the Sandwich Fire Department, and I can't wait to talk to him. So come along. Let's have another Cape Conversations. Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Gallant. I have a great guest today, Chief Burke of the Sandwich Fire Department. I'm excited. I'm like a Muppet.
I'm excited too. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, we have a lot to talk about.
We do.
Holy smokes. You haven't had anything to do in the last 3 weeks, have you?
It hasn't been too busy this winter.
Holy
cow.
It's been such a light winter.
It has.
And I just heard on the news, don't shoot me dead, that there may be another nor'easter coming.
Potentially, but we'll take it as rain.
We're going to take it as a rain.
I will take rain from this point forward.
Yeah, me too. Because if we have to get somebody to shovel our driveway one more time.
No, thank you.
That's it.
No, thank you.
So I'm going to call you JJ because that's how I know you. Because you went to school with my daughter.
That's right.
Yes, you're good friends. So JJ, tell me about the storm. What happened? How busy were you?
So it was very busy. And again, we knew it was coming. And I think for us, the planning process, we knew was going to be extended duration. We didn't quite plan on as much snow. We were figuring 16, 17 inches. There were pockets of 2 feet, as you know, throughout town.
Down neck.
Down neck. And the winds.
Yeah.
When you have wet snow and winds, we were worried about the power outages, and that did come to fruition. But reminded me a lot of the 2013 Nemo storm.
Yeah.
And
nobody knew it was going to hit us.
And we learned a lot from that. I think that we were able to apply, and the 2015 winter was busy.
Yeah.
So all those lessons learned over the last couple of years, we were able to apply, I think, to this storm and have a reasonably well outcome overall. I'm satisfied.
Well, were there many emergencies?
So we did about 125 calls.
Wow.
So that's about 3 times our normal volume, to be expected with a storm like this. I will say people were fairly well prepared. Usually we get a lot of calls to evacuate or move people. People were fairly self-sufficient, at least for the first 24 to 36 hours. So I was pleased with that part. Knock on wood, we did not have any major fires. During the storm. Our medical calls were, on average, but a lot of trees down, wires down, things you had to go clear and make sure it's safe for the public.
Sure. So there was a big controversy about plowing, which wasn't the town's fault because, first of all, the town only has so many resources.
Correct. Yep.
And we go along and we don't have any snow, we don't have any snow, we don't have any snow. And then all of a sudden, whammy.
Yep.
Right? This year we get whammed with it.
Yep.
So that said, a lot of people would call into the police department, which was totally wrong. And that was actually something that somebody who shall remain nameless, because he's pretty famous, put out there. Call the police department if you're having a problem with snow in your street, whatever, being plowed, which was the wrong thing. So what should people do if there is a big storm, an emergency, a town-wide emergency? What should they do?
So if it's an actual emergency, call 911.
Right. Okay.
Regardless.
Right. Okay.
I think that's important. If it's a lack of plowing or an access issue, or you're worried about egressing your property,
right,
the Department of Public Works, you can call them directly, or the town has 311, which if you're unfamiliar with that, and we're going to try to, one of the things I think we learned from the storm is more education on the things that are available for the taxpayers to utilize. So what happens with 311 is you go online, you put whatever the issue is, and it pops up as a work order. We can all see it.
So everybody sees it.
And I think that the common operating picture is so important, where we can look at a neighborhood and say, oh, there's an issue in this particular neighborhood with clearing of the snow. We were prepared as a department. We had 2 fire department plows in operation, separate from the Department of Public Works.
Oh, wow.
So between that and our large brush breaker truck and the National Guard, which we requested pretty early, we were very confident.
Were they here?
They were.
Oh my
They were
gosh,
here for
great.
72 hours.
Wow, great.
And they did some great things, helped us out. They shoveled some driveways. They helped
Yep.
some of our vulnerable populations.
Good.
They did a great job.
I'm coming close to being one of those. so
Nah, we
thank
all
you.
are at some point. No, but I think overall, like we had a good plan. We could get to your house.
Yeah.
And I think that was important, and we want to reiterate that to the public. Like, all right, we see if your road's not plowed, we're still going to be able to get to you.
Right.
We have resources
Right.
to do that. This storm was unique in two aspects. One, I call it the punch we got from 1 a.m. to about 7 a.m. with 3-inch-an-hour snowfall rates. Even the larger
And
plows
howling wind.
can't keep up with that.
Yeah.
And we saw the wind combination with that if you live in Snake Pond,
Yeah.
Snake Pond Road in front of the pond, the giant drifts that occurred, which have
Yeah.
happened in previous storms.
Right.
So that was a definite challenge. When you have trees down that block roads, you can only plow up to where the obstruction is.
Right.
You can't move that tree because they're tangled in wires.
Right. You gotta.
Anything behind that, the snow's going to pile up, and
Right.
it's really a front end loader that's going to be able to open
Right.
it up at that point.
Right. Right. So I think overall, though, I mean, again, I live in Town Neck, and so we have different issues than Snake Pond,
Sure.
for sure.
Yep.
You know, but we had power outage. We had trees down.
Yep.
I recently had to go down Cape and I was amazed along the highway because I was mostly on the highway, and then I had to get off in Harwich. I was shocked at the trees down. It looked like a tornado had gone through.
It was hurricane force winds down there, and the irony is they had 6 to 7 inches of snow.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's all they had.
Oh my
But with
gosh.
the wind and the wet snow consistency, they had so many more trees down. They had gustier, I think they had 80 to 90 mile an hour gusts down there.
Wow.
So that was significant. We had 60 to 65 mile an hour gusts, but we had 2 feet of snow.
Yeah.
And depending on where you are in town, it
Right.
snows heavier in certain. You could go 2
Right.
miles and there's a
And there-
6-inch difference.
Right. I know.
And
know.
Town Neck's one of those areas where it's a little lower
Right.
snowfall wise, but you get the more
Right.
strong winds coming
Right.
off the water.
Right.
So it's interesting to see the power outages in town were in pockets.
Yeah.
Town Neck, East Sandwich, and
Yeah.
we call Country Farm Estates, that
Right.
part of Forestdale.
Yeah.
But Canterbury, Lakewood Hills,
They were fine.
Quaker Hills did not lose power.
Isn't that amazing?
That part was interesting, and I think I
Well,
have
some
to
people are they're underground, which
correct. And
which,
that
I
helps.
mean, God.
And they can Eversource does a good job, and we have a liaison during a storm that sits right in my office.
Oh my
So we
gosh.
can look at and prioritize
Sure.
the restorations, and they can switch power around, especially with the underground utilities.
Sure.
They can reroute power, which I think is important. And one of the things I wanted to mention, I think, preparedness wise for the storm is our tree warden, James Sacco, did a great
Sure.
job of preemptively, and this is over a period of months,
Right. Right.
identifying tree limbs that he could take care of that would not impact the wires.
Right.
So I'm proud to say we were under 10% outage within 24 hours
That's great.
in the town. And that's
That's
a
great.
combination of James's
That's
work,
amazing, really.
the Eversource liaison, and the prioritization
Yeah.
of grid restoration.
Oh, that's
did.
great. Well, you have a new communications director, right?
The town does,
The
yes.
town does.
Yep.
And she did a great job.
Great job. I think
She's the 911 person, right?
no, she's just communications.
Oh, that's right. So she's on like Facebook,
Yep.
Sandwich Scoop.
So she handles the public relations, press
Great.
releases, very social media savvy. And I think one of the things as a group we got together early, we talked about feeding information to the public is important and doing it on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
So we did the 4 on the 4s,
Yeah.
which you will see moving forward, where
Nice.
4 briefings a day on Facebook, starting at 8 a.m., 8,
Yeah.
12, 4, and
And
8.
it was in Sandwich Scoop and it was on Instagram.
People
was
shared it.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
So it takes a burden off of public safety
Sure.
when the information is getting out there
Mhm.
that they're not necessarily calling 911. We can say, these are the things that are going on. These are where the power outages are. So she did a trial by fire. I mean, she's only been on for 2 weeks. She stepped right in, did a great job of keeping the
That's
public
great.
informed, and the feedback was good.
Job security.
Job security, 100%. 100%.
Oh, that's great. What's her name again? please?
Caitlin Fogarty.
Caitlin
Yep.
Fogarty.
She's at 100 Route 6A.
Oh,
that-
good.
I call it the White House downtown.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she was very,
Oh, I
very
love that.
helpful.
That's what you call it
That's what we call
internally?
it. Yeah,
The White House?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Now it's out publicly, but yeah, that's what we call it internally.
Oh, well, I'll start calling
Yeah, I
it
know
that.
that. But she did a great job. And again, managing information and having it credible
Yeah.
is so important.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Yeah.
and if people know they can go somewhere and get credible information during a
Yeah.
storm, it makes our job easier.
Yeah. Well, of course it would. It absolutely would. Well, the other thing I want, this is International Women's Month.
It is.
Now, I don't even know. Do you have women firefighters?
We've had women firefighters. They've
Mhm.
come and gone.
Yeah.
We currently have a couple on our hiring list.
Oh, good.
So
Do they have to go through a rigorous, just like the guys do?
same
right?
thing. There's
Yeah.
no difference.
There's no gender difference.
Nope.
That's good. There
Nothing at
shouldn't
all.
be.
Everybody's the same.
Yeah.
So we have a couple on our hiring list, but our dispatch staff, which is maintained at the police station, 75% of them are female. So
Oh
we
my
have, you know, it's, and I think gender diversification in public safety is important.
Mhm.
Encouraging young people, regardless of who you are,
Right.
to get back to the community and
Right.
work for the town.
Right.
And so we're trying to recruit and say, come work for us.
Yeah.
And,
Great.
and it's interesting because everybody looks at your department as a business.
Right.
What benefits do you offer? What's the culture to work there?
yeah,
What's the town like? So
Well, and
really
women bring a different attitude towards the
attitude,
culture.
there's a different dynamic there.
Yeah.
And again, you know, I'm proud of the members of the department, the females that we've had that have since moved on and retired. Set a great example for those coming forward.
Sure.
So
Oh, that's great.
yeah.
So you are kind of honoring International Women's Month by having them on. Maybe you're going to bring them in.
Yes.
You know, they passed the test.
Yep,
and all
they
that
passed the
stuff.
test,
They
for sure.
Test. That's great. Well, what else is going on with it? Anything, you know, I read, I guess it was in the Enterprise about a family that had a carbon monoxide issue. And that's when I called this here and said, we've got to do something with JJ
Yes.
because that's scary. I mean, that family could have not awakened.
Yep.
Right.
And the whole carbon monoxide legislation came from a family in Plymouth that passed away over 20 years ago. So
Wow.
we had like 20 carbon monoxide calls and they were legit. So sometimes you
Wow.
go, the detector's beeping, we take our monitor, there's nothing.
In my case.
Every time we went, it was a positive read, right?
Wow.
And in part of it was due to generators being, they were ventilated they were seeping back into the house.
Geez.
Um,
You mean they were outside the garage
outside,
or
but the
something
exhaust was
coming in.
back feeding into the house. So we had some of that. Vents that were blocked when you have 2 to 3 feet of snow and the drifting.
Right. We watched that. That
Oh,
was what I was
huge,
worried about.
Huge. Make sure those were shoveled out. We had, you know, some people had started shoveling and then so much snow and they couldn't get outside to continue to shovel, so it was back feeding into the house. So we had a significant, and then a couple were people without power in their cars, not in their garage, which is good.
Yeah.
Charging their devices, but the garage door was open. They were in the driveway. It was feeding the carbon monoxide back into the house.
Wow.
So that was the most I've seen in my career from a storm. It was when you get to 20, you know, in a 24-hour period.
Yeah,
pretty
that's great.
significant.
Yeah. Well, as I told you, we have one working in our house currently, and now I'm going to go home and yell at my husband and tell him we got to get the other 2 working.
Tell him the chief said so.
The
He's gonna be in
chief said
trouble.
he's going to come
That's right.
and fine us or something.
Yeah.
But it is scary because it's odorless, it's
And doubles.
tasteless.
Yep.
and-
You don't know. And I think, you know, even just during the storm, my wife was sick for a little bit, and I'm like, is this carbon monoxide?
Oh my
Right.
gosh,
So I'm
sure.
just checking the house. just to
Yeah,
make sure,
sure.
because it does present flu-like symptoms.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is that's kind of the presence.
Wow.
The other thing I'll mention is if you have small pets,
Mhm.
birds, they will be the first impacted
Well,
by level
birds
of
in
carbon
the
monoxide.
coal mine, canaries in the coal
Canaries
mine,
in the
right?
coal mine. Yep. So even small dogs, cats will be impacted first and foremost if there's a significant level of carbon monoxide in the
In that.
property.
Wow.
So
And you told me, which I did not realize because I thought it was a low gas.
Mhm.
It's a high gas.
so it's lighter than air. So it will accumulate on your second floor if you have a 2-story home.
Yeah.
So if you can only have one CO detector, and
Right.
the regulations require one on every floor,
Yeah.
but put it on the highest level of your house.
I gotcha.
So even if you have a leak in your furnace, right, the levels are going to accumulate at the highest point of you'll still have levels in the basement, but your highest levels will accumulate on that upper floor
I see.
of your property.
I see. Good to know.
Yes.
A lot of people don't know that. And what do you have coming up?
So let's see. I just want to quickly mention
Oh.
chimneys.
Oh
while
my
we're on the
gosh,
subject,
chimneys,
okay,
yes.
because we had a couple chimney issues. Make sure your chimneys are checked, if not yearly, depending on how often you use it,
Yeah.
that they're inspected.
Yep.
Just want to make sure that if you're getting water into your chimney, then you want to take a look at that. But we want to make sure that people are getting their chimneys checked regularly and they're cleaned. We had a couple small issues with that during the storm. What we have coming up, couple big things in the next couple months. Last June, we started a drive and drop medication disposal program
Oh, wow.
where you drive up to the fire station, hand us your old meds
Oh my
who
gosh, that's
expired,
great.
and we
I
will take
have
care
two
of it.
new knees. Trust me, I
You must
haven't
have
got
something at
I got so much of it, and I don't know quite what to do with it. It
Yep.
became a joke. Everybody will save it, and if you want to kill yourself, you just take it all at the end, you know?
We will
So I
take
don't
it
take
from you. We will
Okay.
take it from you.
Good.
So,
I know where to take it. Take it to the
yep. So
fire
June
department.
12th, we'll be
June 12th.
advertising as it gets closer.
Yeah.
But you literally drive up, and our
Drop it
crew will
off.
take it,
Great.
and we add a product to it that inerts the medication.
Great.
So it can go into the regular waste stream, doesn't impact the water. Because really, we
Right.
don't want people flushing meds.
Well, no, and you
because
don't
it
want to put
impacts
it
the
into
water.
the landfill either.
Correct. Yep. So we want to do it the right way. So that's coming up June 12th, which we're excited about. We'll be doing some emergency messaging PSAs for hurricane season. So that'll be coming.
We just got
I know. I'm always looking 3 to 4 months ahead. So, so we're looking at May, June to
Yeah.
start our messaging campaign.
Yeah.
With Caitlin now being on board as the
This is
communications
great,
director is
yeah.
great. So we'll be starting that. So those are two of the bigger kind of projects we have. And the final thing I want to mention is all the storm debris that we have. And now you're starting to see it. The snow's finally starting to
Yeah.
help. So the
It's
town
everywhere.
is working on, we have a debris management program, and I know some people have called. The town manager and DPW director are working on how we're going to handle that, bringing your debris to a predetermined location. The town gets a chipper and takes care of it. So we're looking how we're going to handle that. The second part of that is open burning season. Started
Okay.
January 15th, but nobody can burn because
No.
there's snow on the ground.
Right.
So that ends May 1st. So as the snow melts, we remind people if you're going to do open
You
burning,
gotta,
keep it away from your house. Have a
and we got to
hose
call
there.
you, right?
Yep, you call and we have a recorded message let you know it's a yay or nay for the day,
Right.
depending on the wind.
Right.
So we're going to see an uptick in that, especially people have not been able to burn for 2 months.
Right.
And
right.
so debris management from the storm, open burning, we just want to
Right.
hit on that. Chimney safety, carbon monoxide, the drive and drop in June, emergency messaging,
Wow.
PSA. There's a lot of action happening.
You're you're busier than a one-arm paper
Yeah.
hanger. So, what I'm wondering though is, I call it now Airbnb heaven,
Mhm.
right? So
Yep.
all those
Summer folks.
yeah,
Yep.
all those absentee owners, and the one close to us, they have no. I mean, we actually sent them a letter. We think their tree is dead,
Mhm.
and it may fall on our house or it may fall on their house. It's kind of between us.
Yep.
I mean, he has huge branches down, and he doesn't even know it. I
Yep.
don't think, you know. So, I mean, what do those people do?
So usually,
Because they don't even show up till June.
well, that's the thing. And I say, this storm will linger till May. And cottages, people will go to their cottages and open it up and be like, oh, I've had a broken pipe here, if somebody hasn't called
Right.
on that. So
Right.
the debris management piece is going to be important, right?
Right.
So once we have that dialed in, exactly what we're going to do,
Right.
that'll be helpful for those people that are seasonal.
Right.
And whether they contract somebody or we're still trying to figure out the best way to manage that, because you or I can throw it in our car and bring it to a predetermined location. But
Right.
if you live in New York and you
Right.
have all this
That's where
stuff
these
down
people live.
and and it's there for a couple months, then that's a potential issue. So part of the PSA work we're going to do with social media is, if you have a seasonal property, come down and check it to make sure.
Yeah.
Damage assessment is going to be important, and then debris management, either hire a contractor, but
Right.
there will be a spot for the town to be able to take care of that
Oh,
in the
that's good.
future.
Yeah.
So
But there's no reaching out to them
preemptively,
Yeah.
So I
because
think there's
no way to do that, I suppose.
Yeah, they're really, I mean, depending on how bad it is, if it's
Mhm.
significant damage, then through the assessing records, the assessing department and health will
Right.
reach out and say, hey, you've got some significant damage to your
Right.
property. But I think reminding people that, you do need to clean it up. It is for the safety of everybody and what they can do with it.
Sure.
I think we have to solve that issue for them,
Mhm.
right? They have all this stuff. Well, what do I do with it? If we can provide that venue to be able to bring the debris somewhere, have
I
it
see.
managed, And Paul Tilton and I just worked on that plan the last 2 years as to what, in the future, this was a significant storm, something larger, Oak Crest Cove Field adjacent to the Cal.
Yeah.
That's where we would be bringing debris, dumping it,
Yeah.
taking care of it there. So
Right.
people will be able to do that. So this will be a little bit of a test of that plan.
Yeah. Well, it's
on
kind of
storms.
a mini test.
Mini
maybe,
test. Yep. Mini test.
in case we then end up having a hurricane, which we're not going to have this year.
Yes, we're not going to have.
It's going to go
Please now.
south of it.
Yes. Stay
Go
south.
anywhere, just not.
Stay south.
We have
please.
been lucky. We have to admit.
We have a and this was a winter hurricane.
Yeah.
And
but they don't call it that.
They don't. And it's funny because I say to my wife all the time, I said, I hate winter storms. Hurricanes, because the weather's warmer, if you lose power,
It's okay.
it's okay. You cook on your grill,
right.
right?
And you get ice.
Hurricane Bob, I remember that,
Yeah.
But when you throw low temperature, significant snow and icing without power, it's a whole different dynamic.
It's tough.
That it just really prioritizes life safety more than a regular hurricane.
Oh, sure.
And that's why I always get nervous with these big winter hurricanes, that we're dealing with multiple fronts.
Yeah.
That, and I think we did a good job with this one, and there's always room for improvement. We've already met. There's things we're looking at.
Sure.
But I think just so the public knows, like, we don't stop until the last light is on, and that we've handled everything. So
Yeah,
I'm proud
yeah.
of the town staff.
Well, the number of hours you put in, but the entire staff, the entire force
Yep.
put in.
It's significant. We have people working 100 hours straight.
Yeah.
And again, some of them couldn't get home, so it didn't matter. So hey, might as well work.
Yeah.
But we look at that. That's one of the things as chiefs we look at.
Sure.
We talk about work rest cycles. Is it okay for somebody to work 96 hours?
Right.
What does that look like? How do we rotate them out?
Well, and there's stress to
Mhm.
all this.
Yep.
I mean, you are in a very stressful job.
Yep.
I mean, as chief, it's stressful.
You worry about your people.
Right. And if you're on the front line, you're very stressed.
Yep.
Right.
And they're working and their families are home.
Right. And they don't have power.
They don't have power, and they're wondering how that's going to work.
Yeah.
We'd like to get them home for a little while.
Yeah.
Just to be able to check on things and help out. So it's you have that stress work dynamic that we deal with during the storm.
Mhm.
And then there's I call them the onesie twosies, the people that call from Connecticut and their mother is 90 years old,
Right.
living
Well,
alone,
Welcome to Cape Cod.
and she's without power, and it's like, you want to drive down there and bring her to your house,
Right.
like get her out. And
Right.
so I think Susan and the staff at the Cal do a great job.
Yeah.
The warming center,
That was terrific. I heard
that
was
building
terrific.
has lived up to everything I thought it was going to
That's
be.
great.
I looked at it completely different than I have a different lens that I look at things.
Right.
And I said, this is
It's an emergency.
It's an emergency
shelter.
thing. This is an emergency shelter. This is a warming center. This is a center
Right.
for the town, for people that are vulnerable to be able to come, charge their phones, get some food,
Right.
warm up.
Right.
So it lived up to its billing for the storm. It really did.
Right.
And Susan and the staff do a great job at the Cal.
That's great. I have a question about the Cal, though. If we did have a summer hurricane where
Yep.
they have 100-mile-an-hour winds or more, nowadays all the storms are getting bigger.
Bigger, yep.
Is it built for that?
Yes. So new building code requires Category 3.
Is that
Yeah.
right?
So that the
See, now
windows.
That's good to
and-
know. I
yeah.
never knew that.
Yep. The fire station.
That's
So any
great.
new building that goes in.
Municipal building or all
municipal,
buildings?
but all like residentials too. Have
Oh,
to be
wow.
built to
Wow.
a certain code, but definitely on the municipal side, we want to make sure the building's hardened,
Yeah.
and can sustain it. Now, anything's possible,
What?
but
Welcome.
I think with the Cal and the way it is built,
Mhm.
and it's a newer building, I think, it is definitely a focal point on emergency management for us.
Mhm.
People use it for other things,
Yeah.
but I look at it as we were able to feed National Guard members there.
Oh, that's great.
We were able to do Meals on Wheels on Friday and Saturday when it was canceled. Our personnel went out. My wife and I did some
Oh,
deliveries.
nice.
And I always say to people, like, I was fine. My house, I didn't sustain damage. I had food. But when
Right.
you were living alone,
You had power.
I had power too. But you're living alone and you rely on Meals on Wheels. The sun is out on Friday, Saturday during that week. and
Right.
We're delivering meals, and this is the first meal they've gotten in 5 days.
Right.
Right. So the food insecurity piece is something that we looked at and said, you know what? We're going to keep extra firefighters on even once the storm was over to
To
help.
Right. Just
right?
to do this.
Just to deliver.
Sure.
World Kitchen did a great job. The Family Table Collaborative.
I was so
awesome.
I was shocked.
Yep.
Because they go into war-torn areas. And they showed up here to little sandwich mess.
7,000 meals a day for the Cape they were producing.
Wow.
So they backstopped all of the Meals on Wheels.
Wow.
And people were, I mean, it's.
So if you want to give to something, that might be a good thing to
Huge.
give to.
The Chiefs Association, which I'm president of, we were just talking this morning,
Yeah.
making a donation. Just because of what they did. You don't realize until you're out and about in storms, people's conditions.
Right.
Right. And if you look at it and say, if that was my mother, I would want somebody at least delivering a meal and checking on them.
Right.
And I think that's the thing that we learned from the storm is our vulnerable populations, which Susan does a great job of listing.
Right.
Preemptively reaching out to them, which they did. But then the follow-up. We all go back to our lives 48 hours later.
Yeah, that's true.
And this carried on for 96 hours. Right.
That's great.
And I think that is a valuable lesson learned for all staff. Right.
Yeah.
Even though the sun's out.
Well, it's for all communities.
All communities. You have people that
I mean, you
need
should write the book.
Yeah. You have people that need you. These programs are so important.
Yep.
Until you see it firsthand. Somebody who has not eaten in 3 days.
Right.
And it's like, this is their lifeline. We need to make sure it's prioritized.
Right.
And moving forward, we need to take care of our citizens and our residents here with that.
Well, you grew up in this town.
Yes.
In Sandwich. And I've lived here 46 years as of August. To me, it's always thought of, Sandwich, it's well-to-do,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yep.
It's retired people that have lots of money.
Yep.
But it isn't.
It is not.
It is not.
People need to realize that as the population ages, and we're seeing that shift, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing that shift of 55 and older, and I'll be 55 in 2.5 years. I'm going to be part of that population. You're seeing that dynamic shift to the aging population, which with that comes these items where you can't sell your house.
Right.
Right? Where are you going to go?
Well, we talk about that a lot.
Right. Where are you going to go? And then you
money.
want to age in place.
Right.
Big term, aging in place.
Yeah.
And we want to keep people in their homes.
Yeah.
As long as we can. But with that comes heating a 3,600 square foot home for 2 people.
Yeah. And that's the other thing.
Property
Big
taxes,
houses.
all of those things.
Right.
It's not surprising
Right.
that we have Meals on Wheels. We have those types of services that are necessary. We see it. We see it during storms. We see it day in and day out. And again, that's the direction the town is going. It's not getting any younger.
No, it's not.
And
And
you need to be prepared for that.
And you realize that.
I do.
My question to you is, does everybody else in the town realize that?
I think slowly. I think those of us that grew up here whose parents are still here,
Yeah.
or that move away and their parents are still here and they'll call me
Yeah.
and, hey, can you check on my dad, check on my mom? We see it.
Yeah.
But if you're I'll use the term transplant, you move.
Yeah.
If you haven't grown up here and understood the dynamic shift population
Right.
that's occurred here from
Right.
1980 to, we moved here in 77 when everybody was at the wing school.
Yeah.
Everybody knew
Everyone was-
everybody.
Yep.
Sandwich Newcomers Club
Yep.
used to meet at the old, where Amari's is now.
Right.
If you're not part of that history, then it's hard to actually see that transition.
Sure.
And again,
sure.
well, it's just my opinion, but I
No,
think,
that's true.
but I
That's very
think
true.
more people are now starting to see that. And I saw it front and center during the storm. And not that I didn't know it was there,
Right.
but it's good to be reminded
Sure.
that in your planning, you do
Sure.
have folks that you have to spend extra attention
Sure.
making sure they're getting the services they need.
Well, and here's and again, the town is changing. I live in an area that I've lived there a long time, and we remodeled our house, and we love our home. And our kids love our home, but they don't love it for us because we have stairs, which is not a bad thing.
Yep.
That's another issue. It's not a bad thing to have stairs. However, that said, around us though are second homeowners.
Population.
And across the street, I mean, they're very nice people, and they're from Ohio, which is where we came from. In fact, I know exactly where they live in Ohio. And, she sent me a text. Is the power on? Is that, so I wrote her back, I said, yeah. And I took a picture of the house, which you couldn't even see the house. It was snowing so hard, from my upstairs bedroom to her house. And, but there's not that sense of community. So it's not neighbor checking on neighbors. Now, I do have I'm going to call her a young woman. She would laugh. And you probably know her. lives next door, and she checked on us.
Yep.
You know, and I laughed. I said, Chris, trust me, all the kids have checked. We're good.
Yeah, we're good.
We're not going anywhere.
Yep.
So, and we actually didn't have power, but we have 2 gas fireplaces and gas stoves.
So, yep.
So that part, and we can put the stuff out in the snow for the
refrigeration.
for the refrigeration.
So I think you bring up a good point about neighbor checking on neighbor. We did see a lot of that.
Oh, you did? Oh, good.
Which was good. And
But in my area, they're not there.
So you used to live in the population hub
Yes,
of the town,
I did.
right?
Not anymore.
And I can show you data that shows our call volume has shifted south
Oh, yeah,
of Route 6,
sure.
right? So what used to be a hub of activity when the power plant was fully operational, everybody lived in we call District 1 downtown. We're seeing that more seasonal, East Sandwich, seasonal.
Yeah.
The hub of activity south of the highway. All those
Amazing.
neighborhoods. It's amazing to see the transition and
Sure.
transformation.
Along with this storm came beach erosion.
Yes.
Incredible beach erosion.
Significant beach erosion.
Yeah. I have 2 new knees and I do weddings, now I'm not going to go. There's no way for me to get down on the beach unless I guess maybe I could walk around.
You could walk around.
Yeah, on the peninsula there. Yeah, I could do that. Or I could walk around by Treehouse.
Treehouse Brewing. Yep.
Yeah, there's a path that goes around.
Yep.
But I was shocked at that. I mean, I knew we would get some erosion. I did not think it would be that bad.
Yeah, it was significant.
Yeah.
I think looking at it, you see some of the drop offs are 11 feet.
I know.
It's amazing. And
I mean, it's a sheer cliff.
sheer cliff. Yep. And again, the tourism season's coming, so that has to be rendered safe. And we try, and Mother Nature has other plans. But it was significant when I went down there the next day. I was like, whoa, this is a pretty steep drop off here.
Yeah. Well, and from your perspective, you have to make sure people don't get hurt.
Yep.
Because they go, oh, I can get down there.
Oh, I can hop down, no problem. No problem. Then trying to get them out of there.
Well, that's it.
Is a challenge too.
Yeah.
You don't have stairs or or access. So I know DNR is doing a good job of trying to render that safe before the beach season comes up. But again, when we looked at the amount of erosion damage, and same with Salt Marsh Road, the homes there. None of the homes were condemned. I want to make that clear. There was some safety issues that our building inspectors went out and took care of, but it's
one more big storm like that.
I'm telling you, it's repeat, repeat, repeat.
Right.
And it gets to a certain point where you can't, you can't sustain it.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, what good advice would you give us now?
Moving forward, be prepared to be self-sufficient for 72 hours.
Gotcha.
So I think if we learned anything from the storm with the power outages, have your medications pre-filled if you need to. Talk to your doctor. Solar-powered cell phone chargers.
I didn't have one, and so I was one of those people that somehow got up my steps outside of my house through the snow. Joe almost killed me. I climbed up the steps. He goes, he yelled out the window, what are you doing? Because he was in the shower, and I thought, well, if I go now, you won't see me.
He won't see you, yep.
And I got in the car, and yes, I made sure that there wasn't anything on the exhaust.
Yep.
But that's how I had to charge my cell phone.
Yep. So the solar-powered, they're good. And we have a batch at the station for our personnel. I'm at my house.
Yeah.
But that's a kind of a thing where you can just put in the windowsill, charge it up.
Yep.
And then when you need it and your power goes out, you have that source.
Does it last?
It does. Depending on the brand you get.
Yeah. More expensive, better.
But it'll get you a charge. It'll charge up your phone.
Yep.
And then the good news is put it back out.
Right.
Even if it's cloudy out, there's enough there that will at least start to charge it up again. But I'm a big fan of those.
Okay.
So having that, your medication, self-sufficient. If you have a pet, plan for your pet, right? Food, etc. And then an evacuation plan, meaning if a big storm's coming, maybe you think about getting off Cape before the storm hits.
Right.
And whether that's hotel or family off Cape. We saw some of that this time too, which was interesting, of people pre-planning.
Well, I also heard there were people that they lost their power. They were told it wouldn't be on for 5 days, thereabouts.
Yep.
And so they left the Cape. And the one person I talked to, it was it was like close to Worcester
Mhm.
before she could find a hotel.
Hotel. Yep. Hotels fill up very
Yeah,
quickly.
Yeah.
And again, they have power. You want to look for a non-damaged area, and that's where
Right.
everybody's going to go.
Right.
But it's something to think about in a plan,
Sure.
right? Where could I go, depending on where the storm is? How long can I last?
Right.
What's my am I a caretaker for somebody? Does it make more sense to bug out ahead of time?
Right.
But again, if you can be self-sufficient for 48 to 72 hours, as best you can.
Sure.
And we do PSAs on that, and we educate people.
Mhm.
I think if people have power or access to a cell phone or access to the outside world, it's not as bad.
Right.
But
Right.
when you lose everything,
Yeah, that's tough.
that is very
It's
difficult.
tough.
And as a society, are we conditioned to be able to do that?
Yeah.
What-
Well,
what
are we
used to-
self-sufficient?
Are we self-sufficient? So just trying to make sure people are doing that. That would be some advice moving forward.
And gas in your car.
Gas in your car, and you could have up to a 5-gallon gas can in your garage or in your shed.
Right.
It's good to have that also,
Right.
and you can
Right.
take it with you
Yeah. Yeah.
if needed. But yes, definitely gas in the car. We saw the lines at the gas stations the
Yeah.
next day.
Yeah. Of course.
So you want to make sure that you're doing that ahead of time.
Yeah. Great. Well, I just can't believe you're just a well of knowledge.
I know a lot about a lot of things.
Well-
that's years of experience and paying attention. Yep.
Well, we thank you for your service and paying attention. And don't think about you're too young to think about taking time off.
Oh, I'm thinking about it. Trust me. Trust me, is a whole nother phase of my life that I am looking at. But
Yeah.
serving the community has been the highest honor you can have.
Yeah. Well, you've
know,
done a good job.
And people have given me opportunities when I was younger,
Sure.
and I try to pay that forward, and
Sure.
and I have not forgotten that,
Yeah.
and I'm eternally
Yeah.
grateful for those people that provided that support for me to move up into the position that I'm in now.
Well, you've done a good job. This is just coming from a resident, a taxpayer.
Taxpayer.
A taxpayer. Yes. Oh, yes. We do pay our taxes.
That's
in
right.
town,
That's right.
for sure. So I do thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Chief J.J. Burke, that's what I call him, JJ, because I've known him since he was a kid. He grew up here in Sandwich. He's a wonderful fire chief. And wow, did he give us a lot of information? So I want to thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time on another Cape Conversations.